are live. Let's see here, do the chat check. Make sure that is good before we move on here. All right, with the best average finish of 5.7, we got Kyle Busch. Then not in the race, but Matt DiBenedetto and Jimmy Johnson are second with an average finish of 8.0 in the last. These are the last 6 races, by the way. DiBenedetto, of course, only has 4 races and Johnson 2. But next on the list, technically second overall, would be Martin Truex at 8.2, followed by Joey Logano at 8.3. AJ Allmendinger, there you go. Put that one in your cap. There's a underdog or a sleeper pick, 9.0. Then you got Denny Hamlin. Then you got Noah Gragson in 1 start. Don't forget last year here, Noah Gragson 1 start, finished 11th. Kyle Larson is 9th with an 11.4, and Brad Keselowski is 10th. So if we go to the past winners here, Joey Logano has 2 wins here in the past, so obviously we're bumping him up there. Alex Bowman has 1, Kurt Busch has 1, obviously not in the race. Kyle Larson has 1, and Denny Hamlin also has 1. So those are your past winners. And if you want to go to who had the most top 5s, that would also be Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Matt DiBenedetto with 2. Martin Truex Jr. with 2, Ryan Blaney, Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman, and Joey Logano also sitting there with 2. And let's another one I like to look at is laps led. And here's something that always kind of tells the story for me who has strength here. Denny Hamlin with 341 laps led in the last 6 races. Kyle Larson, 5 races for him, 225 laps led. Chase Elliott, 166. Ross Chastain, 151. And Joey Logano with 94. Kevin Harvick with 92. Nobody else is really close to 100. So there you go. Joey Logano with the most wins, but he's only led about 100 laps here. So it goes to show you it looks like it's going to be a late run most likely here in this particular race. So that'll be interesting to watch. Now let's see here. Let's see. Pull them up here on the old green and orange DK and see what the odds are. And your guy leading your odds on the Kyle Busch at plus 600, Joey Logano plus 600, plus 700. All those guys, we just went over the stats. Those are all good picks there. William Byron, he's sort of a sneaky one. He has really good numbers here. His name popped up a bunch on there at plus 800. Kyle Larson plus 800. Ross Chastain plus 1,000. Martin Truex plus 1,500. I like that one right there. Plus 1,500. Christopher Bell plus 1,500. Yeah, Joe Gibbs, actually, it shows at the bottom of this where I get my statistics that Joe Gibbs Racing is actually really good here. So all of those would be solid picks as well. And Brad Keselowski with a good qualifying lap. He's at plus 2,000. Let's slide down here to see who some of these underdogs are, and if you're going to get a value pick down here. Oh, yeah, plus 10,000. So I showed you AJ Allmendinger on that list. AJ Allmendinger plus 10,000, plus 3,000 for a top 3, and plus 1,500 for a top 5. I like that all day. So that's a good one. Everybody else, no real outliers numbers-wise other than those guys. So, all right, there you go. There's your preview. Who do I think is going to win? I think it's going to come down to Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, and Martin Truex Jr. That's sort of who I'm thinking with my picks. With my heart, obviously, I am picking Kyle Larson. But if I'm looking strictly by the numbers, it's got to be, once again, it's got to be either Kyle Busch or Joey Logano, and don't sleep on Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin there also by the numbers, just with the laps led and the average finishes there. But yeah, that's who I'm picking. So by the numbers, I'm going Kyle Busch with my heart, like Kyle and Kyle show. But also by the numbers, you'd also have to look at Joey Logano, Martin Truex, and Denny Hamlin as well. So there you go. There is your preview for the Las Vegas race today. JD Mayo saying, I think Kevin Harvick will win. He's definitely got good numbers here. Let's see, Harvick, average finish of 11.8 in the last 6 races. 3 top 5s and 3 top 10s and 6 top 20s. No top 5s, and he has 92 laps led. So there you go. Looks like he's had some issues toward the end of the races there. Average start is 8.0. Best finish is 8th, and the lowest finish for him is 20th. Hey, BB, I got a 2-hour drive back to Massachusetts from New Hampshire. I can't be in the chat as much, but I'll be listening on the ride. Appreciate it, TJ. You stay safe out there on the roads. Josh Strickland says, cool to see Noah run in Vegas. That 8 car looked really good in Bud colors. Yeah, for sure. Noah Gregson, he's going to be another one that don't sleep on him here. His one race here last year, he ran really well. Old home guy saying Josh Berry for the upset. So, yeah, Josh Berry's sitting in good equipment. Josh Berry's won here in the Xfinity Series. He had a respectable showing despite a little bit of bad luck. He did spin the car out one time yesterday, but recovered to get a top 5 or at least a top 10. I can't remember exactly where he finished, but I think he was top 5. I think he got a 4th or 5th. Mark Barnum says, what a crappy truck race this week. I knew KFB would win, but the rest of the field sucked. Yeah, a lot of wrecking. John Hunter Nemechek ran all over Haley Deegan and gave everybody the ammunition on that one again. Haley Deegan sucks. All she does is wreck. I'm like, dude, did you watch? John Hunter Nemechek totally used her up or whatever. It's all good. She's got to work on her restarts and get better on that. Bumblebee saying, good afternoon, y'all. What's up, Bumblebee? Yeah, she's definitely got to work on her restarts, though. She shouldn't have been back there to begin with. So 50-50 on that wreck. Mark Barnum says, what's up, EB? What's up, Bumblebee? Says Slow Turtle. What's up, you guys? Todd Gilliland will make it to the Final Four, says OJ and Toothpaste. No doubt about it. He's already locked in with 2 wins. So, you got to respect Todd Gilliland's swag there. Earth 2, by the way. OJ and Toothpaste, we have Earth 2. So let's see here. Stupid Roofer says, what's up, Bumblebee? TJ Moorshed says, IndyCar just had an airborne crash on lap 1. Oh man, that's probably the worst thing about a season opener. Everybody's all geared up and they're ready to go. So sometimes on your season openers, you can see guys kind of go for it. And I didn't see, obviously, I have not seen the IndyCar race. But sometimes that's what happens. You wait all season to get on the track, and then you're just too aggressive race 1. Let's see here. Bumblebee says race day dinner is cubed deer steak with homemade gravy, rice, green beans with cornbread. I'm eating the deer that blew my knee out last winter, so he's being eaten out of spite. So there you go. Revenge is a dish best served cold, unless you can cook it and put gravy on it, in which case it's probably much better with gravy and warm. Mark Barnum says, sounds great, RB, EB. Talking about the meal there. I got a gut feeling about KB. I'm telling you, says Stupid Roofer. Like, I like him by the numbers here. By the numbers, he's super solid. He's got the best numbers by far if you average them all out. So no doubt about it. His average start is 13th and his best finish is 3rd. And we saw him get the job done in trucks and was working on it as best he could in Xfinity. But nobody had anything for his teammate until the very end, which was a great finish in Xfinity. If you haven't seen that, when Austin Hill passed him on the last lap. So talking about Chandler Smith, by the way, was Kyle Busch's teammate. So that was a good race. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely check the replay. And if you haven't, and if you don't watch any of it, just watch the last couple laps. Let's see here. Robin Marks, Great White North checking in. What's up, Canada? What's up, Robin? Saying howdy, y'all. Bumblebee says, Stupid Roofer, he's going to win 8 races. I've already called it. And yeah, so we've had people double down and say he's going to win 10 races, and they have jumped into the comments on the regular video saying they didn't specify which series, and if you just combine them all, he's definitely going to win 10 races. So if you're looking at it from that perspective, I would say, yeah, easily he's probably going to win 10 races if you look at it that way. Josh Strickland says Denny out in the first stage. So okay, Josh Strickland's picking Denny to wreck out or blow an engine or something in the first stage. There you go. That's a non-traditional pick, but I like it. I like picking. That's pretty cool. Picking who will have trouble early. That's always an interesting thing to do. I don't know if you can even prop bet that, but it'll be interesting for entertainment purposes only. It would be interesting either way. JD Mayo says Fox Now app is awesome. I can watch the races and qualifying while I'm traveling. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. That's what I'm saying. I think streaming is going to be the future of this deal, without a doubt. And I'm interested to see which streaming partner NASCAR goes with. Of course, it's been rumored that they're looking at a streaming partner. I'm interested to see which one they pick up. Paul Dog says Denny who, so another non-Denny fan there, Paul Dog. A lot of non-Denny fans, no doubt about it. He doesn't bother me. Robin Mark said, here's my picks. He's got Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain, and Austin Dillon. Ross Chastain's really good here, too. Let's see, where are Austin Dillon's numbers here? Austin Dillon average finished at 13.7 in the last 6. He does have 1 top 5, and he does have 2 top 10s, 5 top 20s. best finish is 4th. So there you go. He's finished 4th here. And his average rating by their particular metric is 78. So yeah, not a bad pick there. I like that as an outlier. So Austin Dillon's numbers are solid here, pretty much like at every other track. He's got solid numbers, but I don't know. He just shows up at the end, but he never lights your world on fire. You never see him go out there and dominate a race. He's just that type of driver where he sneaks up on you at the very end. Let's see here. Deegan has the same luck that I have. None, says T Vance. Yeah, there you go. That was so bad. Like she just got used up. Of course, if she got some experience and was a little bit more of a veteran, she would know that going 4 wide in the Truck Series is always a bad idea. They survived at 1 lap. If you're in the middle, basically you just need to pull out because there's no downforce in the middle, unfortunately, with trucks. So hopefully she'll get used to running up front or at least in the top 15 and figure that out. But she's got to work on her restarts because if she worked on her restarts, she wouldn't even have been back there in the first place. So JGR has 2 drivers that like to crash other racers, says Philip Canavan. Just pick whoever you want to pick out of that group. As long as it's not Martin Truex. Jim Franklin says, let's go Josh Berry. Josh Berry, not the opportunity, not the way he wanted it to happen, but he does have a great opportunity in front of him. And Chase Elliott is fully behind him. Chase Elliott has texted him, and he's been on the horn with him, throwing his support behind him and thanking him for helping the team in this situation. So that's another thing to look at. Not the situation Josh Berry wanted to necessarily be in, but he does have a great opportunity, a fast race car. This is a track that he's won at in the Xfinity Series, so big chance for him, and hopefully he can make a good showing of it, and who knows what happens from there, right? We saw what happened with Jamie McMurray when he was filling in for Sterling Marlin. So we'll see what happens today with this race. Let's see here. Mark Barnum says, I'm just going to let it roll today. So if I miss one, I like Austin Hill. I like Austin Hill for the championship this year, says Mark Barnum. So, yeah, I think he's got a good chance of winning it. No doubt about it. Let's see here. Rich L said, good morning, afternoon, wherever you're all at. What's up, Rich? Good to have you on here as always. Quiet Cat says, 3rd time's a charm. Let's go Melon Man. Yeah, Ross Chastain has good numbers here. Without a doubt, he led a lot of that race last week, but was not necessarily rewarded for it at the end. Didn't have the best car at the end. But this is another good track for him, so we will see what happens. Ross Chastain's numbers are all over the place because he drove for those other teams that were not good at the time. Anthony Auto Club Speedway with the super chat. Appreciate it. Busch Beer and Chastain, your thoughts? I think Ross Chastain fits Busch Beer really well because he's a farming family and stuff like that. He also has sort of got his own thing going on. He's got a really aggressive style on the racetrack. A lot of people are gravitating toward that. He's I'm going to get crushed for this, but he really reminds me his driving style. I'm not going to say he's as talented as Dale Earnhardt Sr., but his driving style really does remind me of Dale Sr.'s quite a bit, where he's just hanging it out there and he's not worried about your feelings on the racetrack. He'll talk to you afterwards and y'all can be friends afterwards if you feel like it. But he's not worried about your feelings on the racetrack. He's out there to win a race. He reminds me a lot of Dale Earnhardt Sr. Joey Logano drives like that too. Their driving style, I'm talking about, reminds me of Dale Sr. And I'm not saying they're as talented or whatever. Don't get in your feelings about that. I'm just saying they're all very aggressive on the racetrack. And they're all different people when they step out of that race car, I guess is the best way to put it. Old Home Guy says, PRN radio had a lot less commercials than TV coverage yesterday. Yeah, I think now that we're past Daytona, I think we'll see a lot less commercials. And kudos to Fox. I didn't say this on a show yet, but I meant to. Kudos to Fox for tightening it up on the last race. The commercials were a lot better last race, so they are listening and trying to do as best as they can by the fans. William Wagman says, happy race day, everybody. I hope it's a clean race. Bubba Wallace goes out on the first lap. So we got 2 non-Toyotas so far. Picks for who's going to go out on the first lap. Zane Smith is the real deal, says Ryan Fussner. Zane Smith's definitely really good. I agree with you on that. Shaw says, hello all. What's up, Shaw? Rich L saying, what's up, the stupid roofer? Chase is going to be out for a while, says T-Van. Yeah, I'm going to let them make that call. I've looked at how long those particular things take to heal and all that stuff, but I'm not going to throw my 2 cents in. I'm just going to let them make the announcement when it's time to do that, because I just feel like that's the most fair way to do it. I'll let them do all the medical stuff. I'm not going to play armchair doctor on here. Josh Strickland says, I'd like to see KB bring AD up. He runs okay, but I'd like to see RCR win more, win the championship soon. Yeah, I think that's he's definitely going to raise Austin Dillon, without a doubt. And Rich L saying big facts to Ryan, 100. Yeah, he's definitely going to raise Austin Dillon's level, no doubt about that. And I think you're seeing already that RCR has good equipment. Like I've said that for a long time, and I got a lot of pushback on it. But I think you're going to see exactly how good RCR has gotten the last 3 years, in my opinion. Even before they switched over to the new car, RCR was starting to figure some things out over there. They were getting the right people in place, essentially, is what I'm getting at there. 43 has a top 5 today. Would be nice, says Old Home Guy. I agree. Bent says, hi, with a KBM win in trucks, RCR and Xfinity. I'm probably going to watch Austin Dillon and see if he can get another top 10 as a KB fan. I don't need him to win, but AD run well, long-term picture, LOL. Yeah, for sure. RCR has two good cars in this race, and they have a chance to sweep or at least RCR affiliated drivers have a chance to sweep the weekend, which is always something cool to watch for. Matt Hunter says, bummed for Bill's boy. Do they have Barry sub through all of Chase's absence? Could they insert Allgaier in at Phoenix next weekend, given he's a beast there? They have not committed to Josh Berry beyond this race, so it's going to be interesting to see who they put in that car. There's a number of people they could put in that car, and I'm sure they're looking at all available options. I'm sure they're talking with Napa, who Napa wants in the car. But Josh Berry is basically only guaranteed this race, so that'll be something to watch as well. Ryan Fussner says Chastain is way more of a Busch beer guy than Harvick. I remember when Harvick won a race in 2020 and had a Busch tall boy that tossed 95% full into the trash as he walked away from victory lane. Yeah, well, I mean, not everybody. I don't know if that's necessarily indicative of his lifestyle or anything like that. But not everybody wants to drink a cold beer when they hop out of a race car. So it is what it is. A race car is hot. Basically, all you want to get when you get out of that race car is water or Gatorade. Some people don't even want Gatorade because it's too sweet at that point. So I don't know. But yeah, definitely. I would say as far as that goes, I would say probably if you're talking about the lifestyle, I would say Noah Gragson, Jeffrey Earnhardt, and Ross Chastain without a doubt. Brad Keselowski as well, even though he used to be the Miller man. That would be something cool if Budweiser went with Keselowski. They took the old Miller man. Maybe that entices Miller to get back in the sport, but who knows? More actively in the sport. I think they sponsor Cindric for one race a year now. Let's see. I agree. Watermelon Man drives like Dale Sr. Yeah, they have a very similar driving style, and I'm not comparing talent. I'm just saying their driving style is very similar. Stupid River says that 43 is going to be tough this season. I agree with that. Volkswagen says, hey, BB, just wanted to say thanks for the great content, buddy. I appreciate it, Volkswagen. I do the best I do the best I can. And I like that Porsche picture there in your profile pic as well. That was one of my favorite paint schemes or liveries. I think they call them liveries over there. Let's see here. Rich L saying people are saying Josh Berry might go to the 4 car next year. Hey, that's a strong possibility that not a ton of people have talked about, but it's definitely a strong possibility. Look, if Dale Jr. is not going to move up with him, somebody will eventually take somebody that is that talented and get some sponsors for him and see what they can do. Old Home Guy says EB48. My dad couldn't eat deer. Passed through him too quick. He loved the taste. But said nothing runs like a deer. That's pretty funny. So yeah, not all food is for everybody. Holdfast says I think it's Joey's turn to win. However, I got a sneaky suspicion it's going to be Brad Keselowski. So yeah, don't sleep on Brad Keselowski. He showed him something in qualifying, and like I said, RFK since the end of last year has started to put things together. So I wouldn't sleep on RFK this season. Bumblebee says, old home guy, LOL, I love it. Glad I don't have that issue. So there you go. Not an issue with the Bumblebee clan over there. Mark Barnum says, time for Larson to win. His wife is not pregnant. Now she is good to shotgun Piers in victory lane, LOL. Yeah, so there you go. He's definitely got strong numbers here. He could definitely get it done. He's gotten it done before. So I definitely wouldn't sleep on him. Keselowski's numbers here, by the way, are also good. He's the 10th best average finish, and really he would be 8th or 7th because a couple of these drivers aren't even in the race. 11.7 average finish, 1 top 5, 3 top 10s in the last 6 races, and 5 top 20s. He's led 36 laps as an average start of 13th. His best finish was 2nd, so he's been right on the cusp of getting it done. And his overall rating is 83. His lowest finish was 24th. So yeah, he definitely he knows how to get around this joint, no doubt about it. Let's see. Swan Dog says, "What's up? Ready for Vegas? Hoping for a rowdy win. Number 8, but Fords look fast. Going to watch Blaney and Brad K. Elio got banged up a bit in the Indy St. Pete race, but he's going to be okay. So good. Good to see that everybody is safe. We're talking about the IndyCar. Apparently there was a pretty bad wreck on lap 1 in the IndyCar race. So it looks like everybody's going to be okay, but he did get banged up a little bit. So hopefully whatever injuries he's got over there, he heals up pretty quick. And of course, we hope Chase Elliott heals up as quick as you can from the deal that he is suffering from right now as well. Stupid River says, if KB wins the sucker, are you going to you're going to hear Rowdy Nation? Oh yeah, no doubt about it. That would really that would be some kind of way to start the season, right? Even if he gets a top 3, like, I mean, if he keeps running the way he's been running the last few races here with RCR, and I'm talking about, the duels at Daytona, even though he didn't get the finish he wanted, the Daytona 500, he won the Daytona 500. He just didn't win the Daytona 503 or whatever it ended up being. Let's see. Shaw says, I would like to see Ty Dillon go to RCR. I respect he wanted to do it his way, but he is running out of years. Take advantage of the family race team. Like, I'm with you on that. Look, I'm all for trying to make your own way in life and all that stuff. But also at the same time, if you have advantages, you should take advantage of every advantage you have, because other people are not going to cut you that particular slack. Like, if you're a boxer, if there's 2 boxers in the ring and one boxer, let's just say, outweighs you by 100 pounds, he's not going to soften his punches because he outweighs you by 100 pounds, right? So if you're the 800-pound gorilla, act like the 800-pound gorilla. Use every advantage you've got in this life to achieve your goals, because life is short and those goals can pass pretty quick if you don't get on it. Sorry, your beer in America is not great. I'm being nice as Robin Marks. There's several reasons for that, but I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you. A lot of the laws passed back in the day. The beer had to be really light in content, so I can't talk about it too much. I don't want to get a yellow mark, so there's reasons for that legally. But yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you. That's why I like craft beers typically if I'm picking. Volkswagen says, lick the like button too, fellas. So yeah, if you want to hit the like button, that would be much appreciated. Stupid River says those RFK cars are fast. I think so too. They've had speed since the end of last year, except at the Clash. The Clash is a setup they just don't have figured out. Cook your venison in some sort of fruit acid, tomatoes or oranges, says Robin Marks. So there you go. That'll take some of that quick run through out of it. Sebastian Straunt says the Alex Bowman and Blake Harris pairing is already looking promising. I think so too. Blake Harris is a heck of a crew chief, and I've always said Alex Bowman's a heck of a driver. I don't understand. I'm glad he's off the hot seat for one season, but I never understood why he was always on the hot seat. Have the IndyCar race on in the background and watching you. I appreciate it. Rich L says folks were cheering KB after his win in the Truck Series. Maybe he's going to make the swing to the good guys now. That I think he'll be a good guy as long as he doesn't have a classic Kyle Busch meltdown. I think a lot of people will jump off the bandwagon if that happens. Matt Hunter, Chastain reminds me more of Edwards. Also came from obscurity, can win anywhere, and has a signature victory move. So yeah, that's a fair point too. Maybe personality wise, I was just talking about. I don't think Carl Edwards quite got as aggressive with other drivers. I don't remember him being quite as aggressive driving style as Ross. Let's see here. Do you think it is possible for Kyle Busch to overtake Chase as the most popular driver? Oh, that's a good question. I would say if anybody has a chance, it would be Ross Chastain or Kyle Busch, but I just don't see Chase Elliott being unseated from that deal. His dad was just too popular, and he's built his own fans past his dad as well, so I just don't see him being unseated. you've got the entire state of Georgia, for the most part, voting for you. So that's just going to be hard to overcome as well. Aaron earned an iron earn. If you're going to war and someone is addicted to food, they'll pass first. So there you go. I guess, most likely. Mark Okowski, sure have a bunch of new bandwagon Bush fans. Oh, there's no doubt about that. I think they were secretly Bush fans. Here's what I think about the situation. I think a lot of people are anti-Toyota. And as soon as Kyle Busch, if he had gone to Ford, the same thing would have happened. But I think as soon as Kyle Busch went from Toyota to an American brand, I think he gained a lot of supporters. I think that's really all that there was to it. Personally, they can make excuses. Oh, I don't like the way he acted and all this. I think it's just because he drove a Toyota and he was beating their teams. As soon as the other team got him, they were like, "Yep, that's our guy." But yeah, for sure, he was definitely the most hated. Mark Wachowski, forget beer. I need a bag of three cheat gummies. Glockopus says, "What's up, BB? Love seeing these pre-race streams. I'll be sure to stop by next week live from Phoenix Raceway. That's what's up, man. That's awesome. And I know you'll be able to do that because Phoenix Raceway has really, really fast internet." OnlyFans McLaren says, "Anyone seen the big wreck today in IndyCar? Kind of have my doubts about NASCAR racing a street course. In my opinion, I didn't see it, but they have talked about it. Apparently, lap one, it was a big pile up." Rich L says, "No bandwagon fans here. BK is my guy." Yeah, I mean, same here. Like anybody named Kyle, I'm going to pull for, including Kyle Weatherman, all the way down, and then RCR and whatever team that Richard. I used to just call it, Richard Petty's team, but whatever team Richard Petty is associated with now, I guess. So I guess I'll be a legacy guy until further notice. So those are basically my favorites, but I do try to be fair to everybody. I try not to be too overly Kyle Larson-y, to be honest, or overly Kyle Bushy, or overly RCR-y, or overly Petty GMS-y. Let's see here. Ryan Fussner, I'm not looking forward to the street race. Yeah, I'm hoping I'm wrong about the street race, but I just don't see it being a good one either. I'm with you on that one. Old Home Guy says top 5 today is going to be Harvick, Josh Berry, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, and Austin Dillon. That's a solid top 5. I like it. Mark Barnum agrees with OnlyFans there. William Wagaman, OnlyFans McLaren. The start was unbelievable. First time I ever saw an IndyCar that high up. So yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that. I will have a new streaming setup one day where I can actually see my TV, so I'll be able to see some of these things you guys are talking about. Unfortunately, this particular setup, this is where I, edit my videos, so I didn't want any distractions in here. But I am working on the other studio. It will be done one day, probably next season. Robin Marks, I think Chastain is good because of tractors. I drove them. Sometimes you got to clear things by an inch. You can't even see half the time. That's a fair point. Nothing drives quite as bad as a tractor. If you can wheel a tractor, you can wheel anything. William, that was a crazy hit. Just glad nobody was seriously hurt, says Rich L. Yeah, so that's the main thing on that IndyCar deal. T-Van says, "I'm not a bandwagon Busch fan. I've always respected his talent. But seeing him in an RCR car, I'm rooting for him." So, yeah, that's probably the other part of it, too. He is driving for RCR. Not only is he driving for, like, an American manufacturer, he left Toyota, but he is driving for one of the it would essentially be like if he went to Ford and drove for the Wood Brothers and started winning over there, sort of the same deal. So a lot to it. Mark Wachowski going with his picks of the 8, the 22, the 17, and the dark horse is the 6. I like all those. I like that 17. That's a sneaky good one to get in there. Respect for Chastain on the way he got the cup, says Josh Strickland. Yeah, he definitely earned his way. There's no doubt about that. Yep, that's simple. It's that simple, BB. Talking about switching to an American manufacturer instead of Toyota. Stupid River said, "I tried those gummies one time." Nope. So there you go. Haribo gummy bears, of course, are what we're talking about here. For all the youngsters watching. Robin Marks, where are you guys finding the IndyCar crash, or did you see it live? I don't have cable. They watched it live. They were watching it live. I've never liked the St. Pete race. Easy for major wrecks. Every year they have a wreck on the first lap. So that's a fair point as well. Rich L with that one. Billy Joe says, "Any fantasy recommendations? Got to work myself. Back up the NASCAR Weekly Points League." So, yeah. I don't know exactly what their layout is for that. I don't know exactly who you can pick. I don't know what their mid-level drivers or mid-tier drivers. But if Brad Keselowski is mid-tier, I would definitely take him. If you want to take a shot in the dark, Noah Gregson. If you're going to go super upset, Noah Gregson has good numbers here. AJ Allmendinger. If AJ Allmendinger is mid-tier, I would definitely take him because he has an average finish in 9th here in the last 6 races. It's a one-race sample, but he can get it done here. And if you're going to take your favorite, I would take whoever you haven't used too many starts of. I don't know if they do it like that or not. But Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Martin Truex, Joey Logano, whichever one of those you have, or Denny Hamlin, or Kyle Larson, whichever one of those you have the fewest starts on, I would take them. Alex Bowman, pretty solid numbers here. William Byron, Alex Bowman, Austin Dillon, Ryan Blaney. Put a big circle around them because they all have very similar numbers here. Ross Chastain has really good numbers here, but he's not going to show them statistically because for a lot of years he was driving cars that were not good. So yeah, those would I don't know exactly how your fantasy deal is set up. So those would be my picks. Otherwise, other than that, maybe who you should stay away from. Eric Jones and Tyler Reddick are terrible here. I would probably stay away from them, as well as Eric Almirola and Chase Briscoe. So those would be guys Christopher Bell as well. I would stay away from those guys. Let's see here. Where was I at? William Wagaman says it's on NBC in the States. I don't know how that translates to Canada, but it's on NBC in the United States. Matt Hunter says, a shame to see both Shank cars get wiped out on the first lap by such a douchey Ferrucci. Yeah, that's how he drives. I think that's the one. Isn't that the same dude that Josh Berry got into it with in the Xfinity series? So yeah, his that particular talent of his translates everywhere. It looks like. Jamie Schweitzer, who did y'all call to win today? Joey on the pole. Yeah, so we got Joey. I've got Kyle Busch winning it, but Joey Logano, Martin Truex, and Kyle Larson, and where was the other one I picked here? Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin would be my other picks there. So those were the picks. Going with Blaney for second, Bowman for third, Bell for fourth, and fifth for Chastain. So those are all solid numbers. I like all your picks there. They all have solid numbers, I should say. OnlyFans McLaren says true to Rich L. Even IndyCar stinks on street courses. Yeah, street courses rarely put on a good race, in my opinion. They're good for 24 hours. That's why Le Mans is so cool. It would be good for a 24-hour race, but typically not great for a timed race or a shorter race. Stupid River says going with the 1, the 8, the 4, the 43, and the 6. So there you go. 43 is going to be hit or miss there, but the other picks are definitely solid. Other picks definitely have solid numbers there. Nation Play says, I hope Chase gets well soon and returns soon. I do too. So the one good thing is that the regular season doesn't matter as long as he can get back in time to hopefully win a race. The regular season doesn't matter anymore. So as long as he gets his waiver, and he will, because he's the most popular driver, and because Tony Stewart basically did the same thing, except he was riding ATV or a light rail or whatever, and broke his bag, and he got a waiver too. So he'll get the waiver. And as long as he gets back in enough time to win a race and wins a race, the regular season really doesn't matter other than that. So I think he'll be okay. Hopefully he heals faster rather than later. But I'll let them make the announcements on that. I'm not gonna jump into timetables and stuff like that. Let's see here. Mark Barnum, Zane Smith would be SHR's best move for the 4 car. There's definitely a lot of good options out there. I personally think Christopher Bell's the best move if they can get him. But yeah, Zane Smith would be up there. Josh Berry would be up there. Tons of people you can sort of throw the name in the hat. If they need a paid driver, then you got to look at Brandon Jones or Riley Herbst. So it just depends on what the real need is there. Do they need the sponsor, or do they need the best driver? That's going to be the determining factor there. T-Van says, old home guy, I think Blaney needs to go to a new team. He might need a change of scenery. You never know. But Ryan Blaney is definitely a name you could throw in there as well. I'm not sure what his contract says or what his contract status is. Anyone on here going to the Glen this year? I would love to go to the Glen, but I don't 100% know my late model schedule yet. As far as helping on the cars, I can race whenever, I guess. But which I haven't laid that schedule out either. But yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to make that this year, but I would like to go one year. Mark, whatever car Zane Smith goes to, he's going to be fast and good, says Rich L. Yeah, I agree. I think Zane Smith's a heck of a talent. Does the 99 need a new spotter, or is it all on the driver? Says old home guy. That's a good question. Without matching up the audio to the driver, it's going to be hard to say. Josh Strickland, KB went to RCR. I hate him less now. Tyler Reddick is off to a bad start this year, including whatever happened in qualifying. I don't know what happened, but he qualified poorly as well. Looks like he didn't even make a lap or something like that. So I don't know. I don't know what went on with that. I didn't get a chance to see qualifying or anything like that. Let's see here. Rich L says, especially in a Ford. Talking about Zane Smith there. Mark Wachowski says Kyle Busch breaks some sort of record almost every time he wins. Last weekend, 3 records. One has won at least one race each season for 19 years in a row. 2 winningest brothers in NASCAR. 3 won 63 truck races. Yes, so there you go. He's good. I mean, what else can you say about the guy? Like, he's legitimately good. He's been good for a long time, and he's going to continue to stack these records. And it's just interesting that Kevin Harvick's an all-timer, but Kyle Busch has already passed him in wins. Kyle Busch definitely had better equipment. RCR was hit or miss for some of the years that Kevin Harvick was there. But that being said, you can't take anything away from it because he's already passed a guy that has probably maybe a 5 or 6 year head start on him. So that's interesting. And Kevin Harvick's first ballot, you know what I mean? So is Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch got a waiver too with a broken leg. Yeah, but old home guy saying, yeah, but the argument that people are making, I guess the anti-Chase Elliott fan club or whatever, they're like, he shouldn't get one because this was a non-racing deal, which that's what I'm throwing. The Tony Stewart thing, I'm throwing that one out there. That was a non-racing deal too, and he got one. And also the drivers that got sick in 2020, they got one too, which technically that was a non-racing deal too. So, you know, those drivers got waivers as well. So it sort of is what it is, right? So at the end of the day, he's the most popular driver. NASCAR is going to give him a waiver, and that's basically all there is to it. You can stamp your feet and throw your hands in the air and say it's fair or not fair, but that's the reality of the situation. NASCAR has already told you they're in the business of entertainment, so that's what they're going to do. Let's see here. Bumblebee says Chase has to be in the top 30 in points as well, not only win a race. That would be true back in the day, but they actually got rid of that for this season. So brand new to this season, that no longer is even the case. All you got to do is win a race. So you have to run all the races or get a waiver, and you have to win a race, and you can be in the playoffs. So yeah, they at the very beginning of the season they got rid of that rule. Billy Joe saying top 30 rule got abolished this year. So yeah, it's brand new to this season, and they sort of released it on a Friday too, if I'm not mistaken. So it sort of flew under the radar a little bit. Earp's running better than Custer. Poor Moulton. Yeah, he's we're not going to pick on him for that. He's not happy about that. Let's see here. Steven Roofer, I'm still on the fence about who's going to win. I keep switching back and forth on the 1 and the 8. My gut is saying Kyle Busch. Yeah, so that's a tough one. I would mix Joey Logano in there too. Joey Logano is super strong here. 2 wins. Penske gets it done at this track as well. So I don't know. Flip a coin. I'm the same way, but Kyle Busch has the best numbers. But like I said, Ross Chastain's numbers are muddled by the fact that he raced for some, even before he got to Ganassi, he raced for some teams that were not good. So his numbers are a little bit muddled there. Flyaway Duck Club says Ryan Blaney does a great job in the booth. Huge fan. He does do a great job. No matter who he's paired with, he has done a great job in the booth. There's no doubt about that. T-Van said, I've had 6 surgeries, and Chase is for a heck of a rehab after a 3-hour surgery. Yeah, so that I don't know. I don't want to speculate on it, but yeah, that's a 3-hour surgery is a long one. So I'll leave it at that. I'll let them do all the announcements on that stuff. I just don't want to play, armchair doctor. I'm not a doctor, so I don't even want to get into that type of stuff. Billy Joe says Reddick with engine troubles before practice started. Tough scene as Reddick fan. Especially seeing Kyle Busch reap the rewards of all the work Reddick and Randall put in together since 2019. Yeah, so nightmare start for Tyler Reddick, right? Nightmare start for Tyler Reddick. That being said, it's a long season. I do expect him to get a win, 100%. Don't get too bummed out about it just yet. And we got Jamie Schweitzer with the super chat. Appreciate it, man. Let's see here. Who will be your pick for the regular season Drivers' Points Championship? Kyle Busch, or Joey Logano. Already, I'm just looking at the numbers. I'd like to say Kyle Larson, but Kyle Larson has not jumped off to as fast a start as I would hope. He's had a lot of trouble, but it's looking like Kyle Busch and Joey Logano right now. And I'm going to go with Kyle Busch just because right now he has the slight advantage so early in the season. So I am going to go with Kyle Busch, but I would say look out for Joey Logano. Normally I would have had Chase Elliott in that deal, but obviously a bad situation for him. But I would also put Kyle Larson in there and somebody. Maybe if you want to look at somebody, and not even a sleeper, but Ross Chastain has to be in that mix as well. Ross Chastain's leading the points right now, by the way, also. So I don't know. You have to go with a nice, clean driver, but I'm saying somebody that would be a sleeper, even though he shouldn't be a sleeper, is Alex Bowman. I would put Alex Bowman in that mix as well. But right now, I would say Kyle. I think Kyle Busch is going to be your regular season points champion, if I'm just guessing. Which it's early in the season, hard to make a prediction. But those would be my picks. But of those picks, I would go with Kyle Larson. I mean, with Kyle Busch. I'm always going with Kyle Larson. Sorry, big homer mistake right there. Sorry about that. Mark Barnum, be crazy if the anger, be crazy if the 9 car makes the playoffs and Chase is not behind the wheel. Yeah. So and also you got to remember they're racing for owners' points too, because that's how the money is rewarded at the end of the season. So it will be something to watch what they can do with Alan Gustafson and whatever relief drivers they have for Chase Elliott in the meantime. They are racing for money at the end of the season with their finishing position with the owner number there. Shaw says trying to pick a NASCAR winner is like betting on which raindrop lands first. It can be sometimes. All the numbers can line up and you can look like a genius like I did last week with Kyle Busch. And then sometimes all the numbers can line up and I can look like a dummy like I did with Kyle Larson, whatever race that he fell out with engine troubles and stuff like that. Or if I had picked Kyle Larson for that race. But for the California race is what I'm talking about. Like Kyle Busch's numbers rolled up that day and it looked perfect. But sometimes the numbers can line up and that person can have engine troubles or something. And you can it sort of is what it is. It's just like betting on UFC fights, right? For entertainment purposes only. One punch, you can be the best dude in the world, but one punch can be the upset of the century. We saw that with Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm or whatever. Anyway, Robin Marks, once you get a waiver to one, you got to give them all, or there would be backlash. I agree with that 100%. Either no exceptions or let everyone return and not count it against them. They need a concrete rule. I'm with you. That's a very good point, Robin. They need to stop doing this case-by-case basis stuff. They need a good, solid rule in there. William Wagaman says, just remember, folks, we have to put up with Danica Patrick's pipsqueaks today. So, yeah, there you go. If you're not a Danica Patrick fan, prepare yourself. She is in the booth today. Man, it's good to see Indy right now. Just not a fan of the track, says Rich L. Yeah, but, they'll go to better tracks. At least you get this one out of the way early. Shaw says, man, why did you have to remind me? Talking to William Wagaman there. T-Van says Reddick will be better by the end of the season. I think so too. My concern with Reddick would be his pit crew. We've seen some pit crew issues over with the Toyota camps, even at Joe Gibbs Racing. So it's going to be interesting to watch from that perspective as well. Let's see here. Robin Mark says, I'm not a bandwagon jumper. I'm loyal as a Kurt fan forever. I'm upset he's gone. But it's easy for me to pick a new driver. Ross made it easy. He's a farm boy. I'm a real cowboy. So there you go. A big push in the farming community to pull for Ross Chastain as well. Let's see. Tony Kanan says this will be his last Indy 500 race, hoping he will win, says Rich L. Yeah, I think everybody's kind of pulling for Tony from that respect, at least all the casual fans. Aaron Armstrong says, I think Rowdy has a better chance because I think RCR is going to race like an F1 team this year. Yeah, they've already proven it. Austin Dillon has basically just accepted the fact that he's number 2. and he's going to try to learn behind Kyle Busch and be as best as he can. But he showed it at the Clash at the Coliseum that both of them are willing to work together, and they even showed it at Daytona. He was more than willing to push Kyle Busch, and even though the restart didn't work out, they were trying to work something out there on that restart at the end as well. Just didn't go their way. Jamie Schweitzer says, or you can be like me, predicting the same driver until your driver gets higher than second. See Joey Logano. So there you go. That is also a strategy. How many first-time winners at Vegas, says Old Home Guy? I don't know. I don't have those. I don't have that number directly in front of me. Let's see. Rich L says Robin Ross is definitely an easy pick. Big fist bump. Another crash at the IndyCar race, says Mark Barnum. So yeah, they're off to a auspicious start for the IndyCar season, unfortunately. Shaw says, I remember pay-per-view Mike Tyson fights were a waste of money. 4 punches and done. A little off topic. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Anything can happen. Like, all the numbers can line up. What we're talking about with that particular analogy is all your numbers can line up, but then you can have engine trouble like Kyle Larson had at California, and all of a sudden you don't look like a genius, right? So it is what it is. One wise guy says, morning to all. What's up, one wise guy? Good morning to you. Joey for the win says, is there still time to start a waiver to get her out of the booth? I don't know. Maybe you can go to change.org and start a change.org. Robin Marks, I'm a Truex guy from the beginning, says Roofer. Josh Strickland says maybe Danica won't wreck a car from the booth. So there you go. She was notorious for being a crash magnet, much like her boyfriend at the time, Ricky Stenhouse. William Wagaman says we just had another big one in St. Pete. So there you go, another wreck in IndyCar. Rich L sure was. I've grown lots of watermelons and pumpkins. Man, another huge wreck at St. Pete. Trying to figure it out right now. So it sounds like a terrible start to the IndyCar season so far. Unfortunately, there was a big wreck at Hickory last night too. Took out a lot of contenders, including Landon Huffman. I think he said on Instagram or Twitter that it bent his rear end. So a lot of Landon Huffman fans were bummed out. If you're a Boo Carlisle fan, he had another engine go sour on him. Hopefully it turns around for him, because when it does, all the bitterness that he's had a lot of engine problems. I'm hoping he can get a win this year and turn his season around, because he's definitely dealt with a lot of crappy parts, unfortunately, here recently. Let's see here. Super Roofer, me too, isn't a big outdoors guy. He isn't a big outdoors guy. Nice race. The number 1, the number 8, the number 20. My picks for the championship also. So yeah, good solid picks. Christopher Bell's a good pick. I probably should have thrown his name in there too. I think he's going to be the future of Toyota if they can lock him down, if he stays with Gibbs, if Stuart Haas doesn't grab him. Let's see here. A GoFundMe page might keep Danica out of the booth, says Jamie Schweitzer. Robin Marks with the super chat there. I appreciate it, man. I want you to buy something stupid for the Lotta Fiat. Is the hula hoop dancing girl illegal now? Get one or something else stupid. You got to detail the car and do it right. And a Canadian flag. So there you go. I tell you what, I will put some. I will try to figure out all the different regions that watch the channel, and I will try to have like a little small flag. You know how you have the driver's name over the door? I will try to have as many small flags for as many regions as I can figure out, or countries, not regions, as many countries as I can figure out that watch the channel. So I'll try to represent everybody that way for sure. Logano won't make it to Phoenix Final Four because it's an odd year. My selections are both Kyle's. Kevin finishing his career. And who was the other one you got there? And the Final Four berth will be C. Bell, Mark Hunter going with that one. Those are good, solid picks too. And also, rarely does the guy that won the championship win the championship. I don't think it's ever happened in this format. Go back to back. So that is a fair critique. Just impossible to pick this particular format. So we'll see what happens. But those are all solid picks for your Final Four. I like those as well. But yeah, I will represent everybody on the car, and we will have some decor on it, no doubt about it. Stay tuned. Connor Daly hit the tires and another car over the top of 2 cars. Oh, that's terrible. That's bad. You hate to see that. Hopefully everybody's okay. Now they're playing leapfrog with Indy cars. Yeah, Jamie, I think that would help. William, was that Jack Harvey that went over the car? So apparently we got some terrible wrecks over there at the Indy deal. So hopefully everybody's okay. It sounds terrible over there. Robin Mark says, yes, sponsored by the world. So there you go. I'm going to try to represent everybody I can represent. Josh Strickland, was it Landon's new car that got wrecked? I don't know if it was his new car or not. I know it was the one that he had the High Rock stuff on, so I would say it's probably his new PRW car, but I don't know. I couldn't say for certain. You would have to ask him on that one, but it did look like the new car, if I'm guessing. But it's just a guess. William Wagaman, they're forgetting where the brake pedal is. Talking about the IndyCar race. Mark Wachowski says Kyle Busch lives in Denny Hamlin's head rent free. Let's go Denise. Let it go Denise. Yeah, so I think part of that. I appreciate Denny Hamlin for giving his 2 cents on the situation, but unfortunately. Whatever the truth is, whether the fans are right, whether Joe Gibbs Racing is right, whatever it is, as far as the fans are concerned, they're over it. They have sided for the most part with Kyle Busch, and just continuing to talk about it and trying to spin it in your direction is just not going to work out for you. That's why I'm saying, like, just take the loss on it because the fans are not with you. On that particular issue, just take the loss and move on, and just don't mention it anymore. Focus on all the positive things that's going on at Joe Gibbs Racing. Don't focus on losing the best Toyota driver of all time. Just focus on the positive things and sort of forget about it. And if anybody asks you about Kyle Busch, that's what I was talking about with the Belichick deal. We're on to the next race. Just tell them we're on to the next race, and we wish Kyle Busch the best. So and some people in the comments worded it way better than I could ever word it. So look at the comments from that video, and that's all they need to say. And a couple of people getting a chuckle out of calling him Denise Hamlin. So William Wagaman says, doesn't Denny Hamlin look like Mr. Bean, or is that an insult to Mr. Bean? Says William Wagaman. I don't know. I try not to go in on people's looks and stuff like that. So let's see here. Nate Dittenburner, what's the latest on Rockingham in the fairgrounds? Rockingham got a repave. I think they'll at least get like a Truck Series race or something like that. The Nashville Fairgrounds, they're really pushing to get that done. So I think the Nashville Fairgrounds will get it done before Rockingham does, as far as a Cup race. I think that's a future site of an all-star race would be the Nashville Fairgrounds. Very possibly the Nashville Fairgrounds will take over the LA Coliseum race or something like that at some point, or that they could get the California date or something like that. I could see that happening. But I think the Fairgrounds gets it done before Rockingham as far as a Cup Series race goes. Jamie Schweitzer, my favorite Joey moment was we know who wears the fire suit in his family comment, says Jamie Schweitzer. Yeah, and the fact that they both went all in on it. I think Kevin Harvick had T-shirts printed up or something like that. So they both had a good laugh about it. Mark Wachowski, like Denny as a driver, it ends there. Some people are the exact opposite. Some people hate him as a race car driver, but they watch the show and listen to the show because they know he's going to say something out of school or something like that. So there's Denny Hamlin, he's got different fans for different reasons. Jamie Schweitzer says, my favorite Joey. Oh, I just read that one. Let's see here. Hamlin is that nerdy guy that tries too hard to be liked and beats himself with worry and jealousy, says Shaw. Could be. I don't know. I think I'll just be totally honest with you. I think he just pulled up his Google and saw what was trending NASCAR-wise, and he puts that into his show, and he knew he had to say something about it. And I think he did it because he's a competitive guy, and he wants his show to outdo everybody else's podcast. So I think he threw out something like that because he just looked at everything that's trending NASCAR-wise, and he's like, I'm going to talk about this, this, and this. And he talked about that. And he knows if he hits at least all of those, one of those will catch fire and do well on the show. And to me, that's 100% what happened, and I think that's exactly why that one blew up. This is an unpopular statement, but I think Josh Berry is as good as Junior's. I don't think Josh Berry is as good as Junior's hyping him to be. Don't get me wrong, he's good, but I don't think he's a future Cup champion. Yeah, so future Cup champion, that may be a stretch, but he's been very good at every level I've seen him on. But I do think he would be good as a Cup driver. I think at the very least you can say he's going to be good as a Cup driver. Calling people future Cup champions is tough, but Junior is 1 for 1. He said Chase Elliott would be a future Cup champion. So I will give Junior his credit on that one. I don't know if Josh Berry is going to be a future Cup champion simply because I don't know if Josh Berry is going to get a Cup ride. So it's tough to say. It's tough to say. But I think he'll be a good Cup driver. It just depends. There's so many variables to being a Cup champion. So I don't know. Supreme Baller says, what's up? What's up, Supreme Baller? Good to see you on here. McKenna 43 videos says, always thought Kyle is a Dale Earnhardt type driver. Wish he was in the 3 car. Maybe would have brought in some older fans. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really get caught up on the number. It would be cool if he drove the 3 car. Maybe he can drive the 3 car at the Xfinity level for them. That would be cool. But yeah, I never really got caught up in what number he runs. I think it's just cool. He's at RCR, and you know Dale Senior was formerly RCR. But there's definitely to your point, there's definitely a lot of people that want to see him run that 3 car. And the cool thing was at Daytona, because he had to go to a backup car, they overlaid his 8 over the 3. So it looked like there was a 3 embossed into his 8 at Daytona. Let's see here. Favorite Logano moment was when Kenseth had enough and Days of thundered him, says Shaw. So obviously a lot of people that also don't like Denny. Supreme Baller says Denny was in the wrong when he said his era was more competitive than the old days. No way. They were faster and had to work harder. Yeah, so like I'm saying, you got to take it with a grain of salt because at the end of the day, he is trying to get clicks and views. So I wouldn't take everything he says as being super serious. Some of it is for entertainment. Supreme Baller says, and I'm a younger fella saying this. Yeah, so like I said, I would take a lot of what he says with a grain of salt. Just remember, he's putting on a show in every sense of the word as far as that goes. Kyle has 3 on the door when he runs the 3 chi car. So there you go. There is always a 3 on the car when he runs 3 chi or 3 chi, whichever way you say it. I've heard it both ways from people in the media. So I'm going with 3 chi because I think that's what it is. Because I think the full name is 3 Chicana, so I think it's 3 chi. Last first, Truex question mark. Truex is good here. He's got good numbers here. Let's look at his numbers. 8.2 average finish in the last 6 races, 2 top 5s, 5 top 10s, and 6 top 20s. He has an average start of 10th, best finish of 4th, and a low finish of 22nd. And his average rating here is 99.9. The only person with a better average rating is Denny Hamlin at 108, and Kyle Larson at 103, and Kyle Busch at 100. So there you go. Definitely a good track for Truex. Isn't Almirola's contract with Stewart-Haas up this year? He signed, to my knowledge, he signed a 2-year deal. So he's here for this year and next year. Stupid Rufus says Hamlin led the charge on the problems with his current car. Got to at least respect him for that. So yeah, one good thing for Denny Hamlin being the mouthpiece for the sport is that he does get things done. As far as that goes, he at least put some pressure on NASCAR, and I think NASCAR made moves a lot faster than they normally would have made without that pressure. Throw Kevin Harvick in that mix as well. Old Home Guy says, haven't seen Denny's podcast and never will. I think I'll turn into NASCAR's version of The View, says Old Home Guy. So I don't know. There's only 2 of them on there right now. And I haven't watched the full episode, but I've caught the clips. So it's him and some other dude talking. I'm not sure who the other guy is. But he landed a good gig. Good for him, man. That's awesome. Let's see here. Spring Baller, I like Denny, but I don't know about the new school being more skilled than the old school. There were so many names back then. Yeah, without Denny Hamlin racing in both eras, he's just sort of talking out of his butt on that one. But it is what it is. That's his opinion. He's allowed to have one. Escobar, and that's just my opinion that he's talking out of his butt. Just, so it is what it is. I've countered an opinion with an opinion. Escobar says he's good, but I don't even think Josh Berry is a future Xfinity champion either. I think Allgaier will win it before he does. I mean, once again, with the playoffs, it's just so hard to say. Uncle Bones agreed with Old Home Guy. Supreme Ballers. Stupid Roofer saying, what's up to Supreme Baller? Let's see. Duke Chronic, Kyle Busch, 8 font. Looks like a KB overlapping, making an 8. Yeah, I agree with that. Somebody pointed that out to me, maybe on one of these. It might have been you, Duke, but somebody pointed that out to me on one of these other shows. And after looking at it, that's definitely what I can see now. I'm sorry that Denny was a little out of line with that. Says Supreme Baller. So let's see here. Duke Chronic says long shot bet. The 54. Yeah, so the 54, he just doesn't have. He's only had one race here, but he definitely was good in the Xfinity Series. So not a bad pick. But in his one race here, he finished 22nd. So I don't know. Gonna be interesting to see. Uncle Bones with the super chat with the old fist bump. So there you go. There's the old fist bump. Got to remember to punch at the camera. So there you go. Yeah, there's a fist bump. Appreciate it, Bones. Supreme Baller laughing about the view comment. Denny Hamlin, the view with Denny Hamlin or whatever. The NASCAR view with Denny Hamlin, I guess is what we're going for here. Supreme Baller said, "Oh, good heavens." Mark Bukowski saying, "Man, those Chevrolets are fast." They're definitely fast this year, no doubt about it. I think you're going to see Ford be really fast this year. Honestly, who I've seen kind of struggling with raw speed, which surprised me because last year they were so fast, especially the 2311. Every once in a while, 2311 would show up with just all kinds of crazy raw speed. Toyota is struggling this year with raw speed. Now, they have good long run speed and stuff like that, but I haven't seen a whole lot of raw speed throughout all 4 cars yet this season. I've seen, Hamlin be good or Christopher Bell be good, but I haven't seen all 4 of those cars be good just yet. So I'm waiting for that. But I think Ford and Toyota, I'm sorry, I think Chevrolet and Ford have had the best raw speed so far this season. Jamie Schweitzer, any ordination, which car number will be credited for last place? That's a good question. I will have to go with, given his recent string of bad luck, I'm just going to go with Ty Dillon because he has not finished really a race this year without having some type of bad luck. So I'm playing the odds. It's either going to be Ty Dillon or Tyler Reddick because neither one of them have had any good luck this season. So I'm playing the hot hand there. One of those two. Let's see here. Any predictions on who will finish last? That's the one I just got. William Wagaman saying the number 54 is going to finish last. So there you go. Some people picking old Gibbs, Ty Gibbs to finish last. Ty Dillon, Mark Barnum going with Ty Dillon. He's agreeing with the Ty Dillon pick. Said Gibbs is a beast. Yeah, I think Gibbs has a lot of talent. It might take him a year or two to sort of put it together. We saw it took Chase Elliott 3 years, but once Chase Elliott put it together, he really put it together, right? The teammate record, Ty Gibbs, says Supreme Baller, or the teammate with championship hopes record, Supreme Baller. I mean, one way to eliminate the competition is to eliminate the competition, right? Ty Gibbs' issue is pushing his religion on fans, says Mark Barnum. I'm not going to say it's necessarily pushing his religion on fans. It's the fact that he only talks about it when something goes wrong. So that kind of pushes people. Him talking about it pushes people away first off to begin with. But him only talking about it when something goes wrong, I think that sort of that pushed a lot of people over the edge. Have you picked who wins the championship? And also him comparing himself to Jesus. That pushed a lot of people over the edge. Have you picked who wins the championship this season? I know it's a long way. I picked who's going to win the regular season championship, and I did pick my Final Four, but I had Chase Elliott in my Final Four, so that's questionable now. Once again, we're going to let them make that announcement. I'm not going to play armchair doctor as to when he's coming back and all that good stuff. Let's see here, but I think I went with either Kyle Busch or Kyle Larson to win the championship this year. Joey Logano. Outside chance, but it's really hard. I don't think anybody's done it back to back in this format. So would you? I would never sign with JGR nowadays. Says Shy. Yeah, they seem to have. Really. They don't want you to get hurt, and that's where they're coming from. But you can't really do too much if you're a Gibbs driver. I hope that with the Garage 56 stuff, that Jordan Taylor gets a chance to race in a NASCAR series. That would be cool. I know it's got to at least be on his radar because the Rodney Sandcastle stuff or whatever, or Rodney Sandstorm, whatever that character's name is. Bingo Winchester. Sorry, everyone. Chase Elliott's injury is my fault. I bought a 9 hat. I understand where you're coming from, Bingo. I've had situations in sports where I'm like, I'm gonna pull for this guy or I'm gonna pull for this team, and like the minute I do it, their career or their season goes to crap. Let's see here. Supreme Baller says, "Oh, you mean Gibbsisms?" Talking to Mark there. Stevie Roofer said those Fords are on another level. There's something up there with their engines. It could be. I think there definitely could be something going on with the engines, and I know at least one Ford team is putting their own tune on them, so to say. Stay on here for about maybe 10 more minutes, and I'm going to jump and catch the pre-race. Mark, I know Gibbs are believers, but Ty doesn't himself doesn't represent himself very well as one. Says Rich L. Bingo Winchester, watch your six. Ty Gibbs' lip service to religion angered me. Ford has spent this weekend hoping Blaney wins today, and I'm not gonna attack anybody's religion. I'm just saying some of the things Ty Gibbs has said has angered people about religion, and I'll leave it at that. I think people should be able to believe whatever they want to believe and vote for whoever they want to vote for, and they don't need my opinion on it. So I do stay out of that, but it is a fact that him mentioning religion only when things go bad has turned people off to it, and the fact that he compared himself to Jesus one time really angered some people as well. Chase Elliott, 4 to 5 weeks, in my opinion, says Shaw. They should put Jordan Taylor in the 9 car at Coda. Yeah, that would be cool. They definitely that would definitely be a good fit for a road course, right? I don't know what they're going to do. That's going to be another interesting story. Do they stick with Josh Berry or are they going to go with somebody else? That's going to be an interesting thing to follow, and I think Napa will have a lot of input on that as well. And just let's stir it up. Just throw it out there. Jimmy Johnson's out there. So let's see here. Hopefully, with my broke tibia. Hopefully, I broke my tibia with no surgery, and it took months. Says Supreme Baller. So yeah, it's all going to be different. I'm going to let them do that. Like they'll come out and tell us in their time how long it's going to be. Mark Barnum's thinking it's going to be 6 months, so that's his call on it. Pain in the rear, says Supreme Baller. Tibia is such a pain in the butt. It's a load bearing bone, so it stinks. Mark Wachowski, I really think JGR's troubles began when Joe's son left us. Joe went from happy on top of the game to kind of cold and sad. Great man, tough circumstances. Yeah, and then another one. In a very short period of time, he lost both of them, and that's got to put you in some kind of place mentally. So, like as much as people rag on the Gibbs deal, like you have got to feel for that guy, right? That is a terrible situation to be in. Jamie Schweitzer says no bell ringer in Dawsonville Fire Station for a while, or the pool hall. It's Dawsonville Pool Hall, but yeah, it's going to be a minute. I wonder if they'll ring the bell if the car number wins. Like if the guy filling in for him wins, the old siren. I wonder if that driver will get the siren as the backup driver. That'll be interesting. Maybe I can get in contact with somebody down there and see if that'll be the deal. Supreme Baller, I love Chase. Yes, I know I'm a typical Chase fan, but it's hard not to root when he's Bill's baby boy. Says Supreme Baller. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong at all. Let's see here. Rich L, I'm sitting on my hands about Ty, says Rich L. IndyCar started 27 cars. They are down to 15 now. Oh, that is terrible. Golly. You hate to see that much carnage. First off, hopefully everybody's okay. Second off, hopefully everybody, that's a lot of money, man. Hopefully those cars are not too banged up. Like that's just a terrible way to start your season. Bumblebee says, as a nurse that has had that injury, a fractured tibia usually takes 3 months to heal with rehab. That being said, people can overcome it faster. That's just the proper medical healing is 3 months. Yep. So there you go. And also it depends. Like it's just one of those deals. Like you can have an ankle sprain and you can have a high ankle sprain. They're two very different things, and they have two very different like healing periods, and that's what she's getting at here. So it could be 3 months, it could be 6 months. It just depends on how bad it was fractured, and that's what I'm saying. I'll let them make that call. I'm not going to armchair that one, but she can because she's in the medical profession, so I have no problem with that one. Let's see. One wise guy, I think Josh Berry sticks around for a bit in the 9. No doubt about it. Me personally, I would stick with whoever your driver is. I would stick with one driver. That way you can at least build some consistent rapport. But I think Napa's going to have a bigger say in this than anybody, to be fair, because their name's on the car. Jamie Schweitzer says Dale Jr. Fills in for Chase. That would be cool. That would be sort of a huge deal, no doubt about it. Let's see here. If Ty can be a little more humble, I would respect him. That comparison really turned me off. Yeah, I think that comparison really turned off a lot of people. I don't think he meant anything by it. I think he was just a young kid and said something crazy. But at the end of the day, he said what he said. Thanks for the excellent NASCAR content you provide. Mike George with the super chat. And I really like the Richard Trickle picture that you got there. He is the reason I run the number 84. So cool picture, and thanks for the super chat, Mike. I appreciate it. Junior would wreck everyone how he did in South Carolina, says Supreme Baller. Anyone remember that? I remember it because he wrecked Landon Pimpleton, and Landon's one of my buddies. I was not happy about that, but it is what it is. I'm sure it wasn't on purpose, but I still wasn't happy about it. Let's see here. Mark Barnes says, EB, you nurses are the real heroes in the medical field. Yeah, no doubt about it. Mark Hunter says, Denny Hamlin is the Aaron Rodgers of NASCAR. That's a good analogy. They both like to create a little drama there. Mark Wachowski, everyone have a great and beautiful weather racing, says Mark. No doubt about it. Mark totally agreed about nurses, says Rich L. Philip Canavan says Indy race has 19 as of now. So, all right, they got some more out there. It was 15. A few more cars have been repaired and are back out there. Let's see here. Old Home Guy says, I see a year of the 48 being top car in performance and points for Hendrick this year. That definitely could be the case. I like Blake Harris and I like Alex Bowman. I think they're a good combo, a good pairing. That being said, Kyle Larson's the man. Escobar, Dale Jr. to fill in for Chase at North Wilkesboro. I think that could happen without a doubt. Because Dale Jr. wants to run Wilkesboro in a cup car, and if it goes that far, that would just make the most sense. That would sell the most diecast, that would sell the most T-shirts, yada yada, so on, so forth. And then there would also be an Earnhardt in the 9 car, which is an Elliott number, which is a big crossover deal. Like, I'm not saying it'll happen. I'm just saying it makes sense. BK is going to pull this off today. I'm calling it, either him or Ross. Mike George, you're welcome. I appreciate it, buddy. Randy Tingen, peace, BB. Awesome show today. Jamie Schweitzer, enjoy the race. Go Priest. Hi, dang, buddy. You got wrecked by Junior. That's a story to tell for sure. Yeah, old Landon, he had a good sense of humor about it. Rich L, the 6, the 1, and the 8. All good picks. All good picks, Rich. That 6 car, don't sleep on him this season. I think he gets a win this year. William Wagaman, Bologna Burger, you are our pre-race show. I appreciate it, man. I'm a poor excuse for one, but I'm here doing the best I can. Uncle Bones, and they have both messed over Danica. I guess I should say that. Y'all like the stream before you leave. Thanks, says Rich L. Yeah, so if you want to hit the thumbs up before you leave, that would be appreciated. Second, William Wagaman, good show. I appreciate that. I appreciate y'all with all the love there. Brad will win this season. We'll hear Brad Keselowski won this race. I think so too. I don't even think that's a big stretch. Go KB, buy it all, says Shaw. I can see Dale pitch. He will race North Wilkesboro if they keep Josh Berry in for the rest of the races. Oh, there you go. Make a power move there. I like that too. Bingo Winchester, guess they'll pull for Blaney since Elliott's out. Yeah, that's true. That he could get a swing. Supreme Baller, I think he's got it dialed in. Hey, from Nova Scotia again. What's up, Danny Price? What's up, Nova Scotia? Epileptic Bumblebee says NASCAR sucks. Don't watch Bumblona Burger. She likes to throw in some trolls. So whenever she's in all caps, she's doing some fun trolling, just so y'all know. Best race, watching beer at the home track. Brad Keselowski won this race, says Supreme Baller. Yeah, I think we're definitely going to hear that this year. Hell yeah, BB's pre-race. There you go. Maybe that's what I'll just call it from now on, the BB pre-race. In Larry Mack voice, I'd rather be watching table tennis. Wouldn't we all? Wouldn't we all, Bumblebee? Kyle better put EB in timeout. She's just having a good time. Finally made it, better late than ever. Dredden Patrick in the booth says Mark Martin fan for life. You're not alone. There's a lot of people that have tuned in and said that today. No racing here yet. We got about a foot of snow here on Friday. Oh, that stinks, Danny. I hate that for y'all. Y'all have a good race day. Peace out. And with that one, I'm going to dip out of here. It's been a fun one. I appreciate y'all watching and hanging out. And until the next one, peace.